live stream, and we will give just a few more moments for anyone else who wishes to join as we get our slides going.
Where's this option again? Slideshow, there we go.
You got it.
Awesome. Yeah, you lose it when you do this custom live screen.
Yes, that's cool. We'll just give us 30 more seconds for anyone else who's joining. To anyone who's already here, welcome to this second edition of our direct booking Q&A. Very excited to get it started. I've personally gone through the flow for the direct bookings myself a few times now with my own personal listings, and yeah, I'm very excited to talk more about the product. So without further ado, we will get it started. So before we kick things off, just a few housekeeping items. We will remind you that this is being recorded. So we are here in the Asia Pacific afternoon and evening and the European morning. So for all those based in the Americas, you can watch this later on the recording. We're also live streaming to all of our channels. So we made that available on our YouTube and Facebook pages. So the direct booking Q&A, often in our town halls lately, we've had a lot of direct booking questions. So this is an opportunity for us to all come together as hosts and grill Andrew with any questions that we may have. And he's also going to update us on the latest with the direct product and some of the new additions in terms of the product, and then also the team. The last thing I'll say before I throw it over to Andrew is just that we will have a Q&A portion at the end for anybody who wishes to come up on stage. You can raise your hand. We can then bring you up on stage to ask your question directly to the team. We've also got some of our customer support team members in the chat, so they can answer your chat if you would prefer to ask your question there on the Zoom chat. If you do want to come up on stage and you raise your hand, please just be sure to unmute yourself when you're ready to ask your question. With that, I will send it over to Andrew to get us started.
Cool, thank you. Okay, we're talking about direct today. I'll probably take about 15 minutes or so just to kind of go over the basics for those of you that aren't familiar, go over some of the things we've been working on, and then some of the future updates that are coming down the pipeline. And then the rest of the time will be for Q&A. But let's get started. So without going back to the entire kind of genesis story of direct, we did take a different approach to direct booking. So at a high level, we basically looked at what the marketplace was doing for direct booking, and everything was basically, we're going to give you a website and we're going to connect payment processing to it. And that was it, basically, which is what we ended up calling direct basic. But we wanted to go for something different. And we did that by listening to hosts. And you all were telling us that there are, some valuable services that are provided by an OTA. A lot of them have to do with risk management. You're opening up your home to, someone that just stumbles across your site online. You like the damage protection aspects. You like the vetting that's happening for an OTA guest, that they have a verified identity, etc. And we wanted to keep those good things, and then try and kind of pare down on the things that maybe you didn't need. So, as you build your own business, you should start to own the relationships with some of your customers. So that CRM component, marketing to your own customers, you don't always need to pay an OTA for that service. And so we cut that part out. And so what we got was a direct premium offering that ended up looking like a different payment processor for us. So on direct basic, we use Stripe. On direct premium, where it's offered, which right now is in the USA and just launched in Australia as well, all you have to do is connect a bank account. So that can be any individual or business bank accounts. You can connect multiple bank accounts. We will have a split pay option coming soon. That's pretty exciting for property managers. One of the biggest decisions we made with direct premium is Hospitable is the merchant of record. So again, contrasting to like the direct basic experience that some of our competitors offer, where you are the merchant of record, meaning you are the liable party for these transactions, for cancellations, for refunds, making sure you have sufficient balance ready. Any chargebacks that happened, you're on the hook to lose the entire amount of that booking as a loss if you lose that chargeback, as well as the damage to your payment processor reputation score. Those are things that we're better suited to do as a larger player, aggregating chargebacks across our entire customer base. So that was a big decision. I think we're probably one of the only offerings on the market that serve as a merchant of record for a direct booking solution. It's a hybrid. So that's an exciting concept that's kind of hard to explain sometimes until you actually feel it. So we've had a couple of chargebacks already. I don't think our hosts that were involved even knew there was a chargeback that happened. We defend against the chargeback. We basically will, sorry, I'm blanking on the legal term, but we will indemnify the host. So the host got their payout, fine. If we lose the chargeback, it's currently pending. That's our loss. So we're taking a stance that we will protect you against chargebacks for fraud, things like that, which is, yeah. If you haven't experienced that before, that's a huge win for you. And then on the risk management side, continuing, we do guest vetting on all premium reservations. So those all go through AutoHost. And then we do $5 million US worth of damage protection on all reservations. And these services are available anywhere that premium is offered. So US and Australia for now, and then we'll look at expanding those to other countries. Otherwise, direct basic is available anywhere Stripe is. And if you're in not one of those 38 countries where Stripe is available, we are working on an option that is basically what you would have before signing up for direct. If you just have a direct website, no payment processing, we hope to continue to have that service where it's just a request to book, but no payment processing. So that's direct premium. That's still a pretty nascent service. I mean, we just really got live with this a couple months back, but it's growing pretty quickly. It's still small, but last week we did about $107,000 worth of bookings on direct in the last month. So for June, we did total 164,000 payouts for June. So that's money going to our host. For direct premium, we don't take anything from your payout. So when you set your nightly rate of say $100, we pay you out $100 per night, plus any pass-through taxes that we collected for you, plus your cleaning fees, etc. But there's no charge after that. So that payout is your money. And then, yeah, our direct basic offering, which is also an option. You just connect a Stripe account. You can connect multiple Stripe accounts again. And then, yeah, you are the merchant of record for those transactions. Hospitable is not a party to those. You have full control. Everything will let you add in any taxes and fees that you want calculated. We don't have integrated guest vetting or damage protection yet. I think we will have options for you to decide you want to use these tools and have a better experience. You can already do that now, but offering a more integrated experience for direct basic hosts that choose to use those products, that is something that we're looking at. Yeah, and you control your payouts. So the payout schedule is different. Since we have to hold on to that liability for direct premium, we're going to pay you out similar to Airbnb. So 24 hours after the check-in of a reservation, we'll pay out. For direct basic, the money immediately enters your account once the payment is made. But you are, responsible for holding on to sufficient funds to manage your business, as you're in charge of that. So the way that looks, kind of like the high level feature breakdown. Basic and premium, we're going to charge you a monthly fee. That's the next slide. That covers kind of the sites and general hospitable functionality. Basic, we're not charging a transaction fee, but you are going to end up with a payment processing fee from Stripe. So that's around 3% that's going to be deducted from your payout. For premium, we charge a 6% plus $10 fee that covers like the guest vetting, the damage protection, our chargeback liability, kind of the risk premium that we take on bookings, as well as the payment processing. So then that's how we get the payout with nothing deducted from it. That's a guest service fee. So we charge that to the guest, all the cost of running that service, and then you get 100% of your payout without any fees deducted, including without any payment processing fees deducted. And all those services are included. And then what you pay, the per property fee, So when you get set up on direct, you can get set up on your own time. Basically, that's getting your payout method set up. So Stripe accounts connected if it's direct basic, connecting your bank accounts, verifying your bank accounts for direct premium. You do need to go through a know your customer, a KYC process before we can pay out to you. But as soon as you add a premium payout method, you can immediately start taking payments. It's just the payouts that need to have the KYC process done. If you don't run into any trouble with the KYC process, it can be as fast as 10 minutes, just uploading a little bit of information. And as long as you don't trigger a manual review, it takes minutes. If it's a manual review, you might have a couple of business days before you're verified. And again, that's only going to cause a delay in any payouts that you might have. But you can run those processes, get your site set up, get that looking nice, and then you can activate direct. And at that point, we'll start charging you these per property fees for direct basic or direct premium. Premium is actually cheaper on a per property basis. As you see, that's not a mistake. The idea is that that transaction fee that we charge on premium, the 6% plus $10, is part of that component as well. So that's why premium is cheaper than basic. Okay, let's look at some of the new things that have come to direct recently. We now have a dedicated direct service team. So Eileen and Dawn, they actually started on their kind of full schedule just last week. So now we have 7 days a week. We've got 1 or 2 of them will be online, mostly during US business hours where the majority of our customers are located. But they're really going to help us keep the direct queue as close to a live chat experience as possible if you're online during business hours. We've also got the core team doing support to back them up, but we wanted to have a specialized team that's really qualified at doing the investigations for getting your payout methods set up, doing that KYC verification process. If guests have questions during a booking experience, they can't figure out the payments, they have questions about the guest vetting experience, we want to have a service team in place for them. So we're excited that Eileen and Dawn are now online and available to help you with any direct related questions. Some other small updates that have come recently. We now let you edit your property URL. So that last part of the URL, this is something that we had several kind of support issues raised with, that people wanted to change this link that they had set up a long time ago and never went live with their site. You can now edit those. We also did a few things on this page. We're helping you with kind of a health check to make sure that your properties are, they have the right payout method set up. They've got the right content. They've got a valid address so we can do tax calculation, things like that. And we'll also let you copy and share the links for your properties. A lot of hosts are doing kind of one-off recommendations. I want to recommend this specific property to this host. It was actually kind of hard to find your link before. And so we just created that copy icon there this is your site manager for your direct websites. Instant Book launched for premium a couple of weeks back. This is a great feature because there's kind of an asynchronous process that happens when a guest makes a booking, because we immediately then funnel them into guest vetting. We want a guest vetting result before you can accept a booking, because we need to manage the risk and liability on that, which includes chargeback risk. We don't want to take a payment from someone that's going to be a chargeback risk. So that process means that you might see a request to book in your inbox. Normally, guest vetting takes about 10 minutes. We'll send the guest a reminder if they haven't completed the guest portal yet. But if that comes in late, as long as you have Instant Book set up, that means we'll automatically accept once that guest vetting score comes in and it meets your risk tolerance level. So AutoHost is going to score every reservation from green, yellow, orange to red. We don't accept red bookings. Those are fraud, blacklisted, different transactions that are too risky for our risk level as the merchant of record. But you can set orange, yellow, or green. If it meets that standard, once the guest vetting score comes in, we'll automatically accept it. We're going to do this for basic soon as well. You're not going to have the benefit from the guest vetting score there, but we will be making this available for direct basic customers too. And then exciting update, this is not live yet, but we are allowing you to already scope your properties to be part of the initial batch of the Google Vacation Rentals integration. This is something that, so many hosts have communicated is a very big deal for them. We have high expectations on what this can do to drive demand for your properties. Right now, this only is going to let you scope hospitable sites. So if you're using a custom site, we do support custom sites. You can use our booking widgets on those sites. So if you have like a Boostly site or you did your own WordPress site, whatever, you can use a Hospitable booking widget on those sites, and they're going to feed in. We don't have a solution yet for Google Vacation Rentals because part of the integration experience is we have to basically fulfill uptime requirements for the URLs we provide, for the SSL, the security certificates that are tied to those URLs. So if we don't control the URL, we're working with Google on a way to do that. So if you have a custom URL that you control, we're still working on a solution for that. We're optimistic we can get a solution, but for right now, it's only hospitable sites, and it's not live yet. We're basically feature complete with the development. We have a call with them this week to check on what remaining processes we have. There's kind of an audit process that happens. So they're going to be checking our pricing integration, make sure we're correctly reporting availability and pricing to them. Once that gets signed off, if you scoped your property to Google Vacation Rentals, it will go live. Okay. Beyond that, what else is in the pipeline? Just some quick highlights of what's coming up. We will be launching with Google, Instant Book coming to Direct Basic, like I said, Direct Support Team, that's already live. Sorry, I probably didn't belong on this slide. And then the next feature, and this week just kind of changed our priorities. I think this got upped in priority, the ad hoc fees and refunds. I think this solves a lot of use cases from feedback we've been getting from hosts, that they want to be able to say, oh, I don't know, I converted you from an OTA booking, like maybe you're having trouble on booking.com. I saw this ticket yesterday and they wanted to offer like a $50 discount to get someone over. That's going to be a promo code feature. Promo codes are about to go live. I think this week we're going to try and get those live. Promo code feature, it's also ad hoc fees and refunds. So you could just issue them a $50 refund after they paid, or you could do an ad hoc fee. Like we don't have a good solution yet for pet fees, which we're trying to get in. But if we do an ad hoc fee, that means you could just generate a pet fee on demand. It would be, you'd be able to charge the payment method on record. So they've already given your card for the booking. You'd have authorization to go ahead and make an additional charge against that payment method to collect pet fees, pool heating fees, any of the fees that you have that are negotiated after the fact. That's the next thing we're going to work on. After promo codes get released this week, we're going to shift our efforts to these ad hoc fees and refunds. And then the next major features that we're excited about on the roadmap, quotes. Quotes is the ability to basically, how you can do a manual booking now in Hospitable, we're going to let you turn that into a payment link. So if you're taking, a booking lead, a reservation request by email, by phone, you can go ahead and go to the property, go to the calendar, block the dates for the guest, set a custom price. So you could override your pricing if you'd like to, if you're negotiating over the phone, set that price, generate the payment link, and then share that to the customer. Then they can just open the link and input their credit card information, do the guest vetting, and then you've got a booking. That's the quote feature. And then we have several midterm stay improvements to help optimize for hosts that are doing more than month-long stays in the US. That puts you in a different tax code. So we want to handle that. We want to handle payment terms. So if you're looking at $30,000, $40,000 booking, obviously that's a lot to do in one charge on a credit card. We want to be able to do a payment by installment. What else for midterm stay improvements? I think monthly payments, some different payment options. Sorry, monthly rates, something that we don't support currently. We have weekly discounts, we have monthly discounts, but an actual monthly rate is something we're looking at. There's several other features that are part of that midterm stay improvement package. And then expanding direct premium. So right now, US, Australia support for direct premium. Next markets we're looking at are Canada and the UK, targeting kind of September, October for those, I think. More information on that coming. But those are the kind of the 2-3 month roadmap for what we're looking at for direct, basic, and premium. Okay.
Awesome.
Ethan?
Some very, very exciting updates there. Tons was covered there. So we've now rolled on to our Q&A portion of the seminar. I might start us off with a couple of the written Q&As, and I can throw them towards you, Andrew. Mine was actually one that the first one is from myself as a host, and also one that I've seen a few times in the support queue. You touched on that direct premium is now live in Australia, which is massive, expanding globally. The question we've had is, are the features that are currently available on direct premium in the States also available in Australia? So all the extra features like guest vetting, those sort of things, are they going to be the exact same for users in Australia?
Yep. So taxes are going to work a little bit differently. If you're not familiar with the U.S. tax code, it's Byzantine and wild, and obviously that's nice that you don't have to worry about that in Australia. So yeah, the taxes work differently. It's a lot simpler there. The primary products though that we're talking about, I think, are the guest vetting, which is what we work with AutoHost. And then the damage protection, which is provided by Superhog. And those are both global products. So anywhere we go with Direct Premium, we've checked with those vendors and they are comfortable providing service. And just about any market that we work in, there's the exceptions. But yeah, Australia is definitely covered. You're going to have a very similar product experience on Direct Premium in Australia and the US. Other than taxes, I don't think there's any difference.
Okay, awesome. That's great. And is it too early for you to be able to comment on the UK and Canada, whether it's, I assume our intention is that for them to be very similar and for us to be able to include those features?
Yeah, they'll include those as well. Yeah. I think anywhere where Direct Premium is going to go, I mean, the exceptions are like North Korea, Iran, basically sanctioned areas. But yeah, the rest of the world is covered. So anywhere Direct Premium is going to go, that product experience, with the exception of taxes, is going to be very similar.
Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. And the next question we've got, you touched a couple of times on split payments and that's in the upcoming pipeline. Can you comment a bit further exactly on what split payments are and how we will expect them to work when they are launched, in terms of when that might be a use case for a host?
Yeah. I think the use case is the property manager use case. So if you're doing like, say, an 80-20 split where your property owner obviously is taking the bulk of that payout, the 80%, and you can keep the 20%. There's tax reasons why it's better to do that split pay, where, I mean, some property managers, if they don't have the solution, they might take all of that income and have to recognize all of that income as their own income, even though 80% is about to go out the door to their property owner. So there's obviously tax benefits to that. There's also just the simplicity in the accounting and being able to pay out your owners faster. So this is a super exciting feature. I think it's, from what we've been told by our host, this is going to work even better than how Airbnb does this. There's more options. So our plan for implementing this is basically, you're going to create a payout rule. And I'm sorry, this is only for Direct Premium because as far as we know, Stripe does not have a solution for this, but we work with a different payment processor for Premium. And you're basically going to add a payout method for your property owner, which, again, super easy. It's just adding a name and a type. So it's an individual bank account to this property owner. You're done. You're ready to do payments. You're going to be able to send a link to that owner. They need to do KYC on that before they can get payouts, but you've got a payout method for them. And then you've got your own business. So your property management company, maybe, that's another payout method. You can now link those when we get the split payment done and create a rule. And the rule will let you go line by line and assign any percentage split of that payout. So if you want to take 100% of the cleaning fee, done, that goes to you. If you have pass-through taxes that you're agreed with the property owner that you're going to handle all the tax payments, okay, you capture 100% of those. The nightly rate and fees, those you need to split. So those go 80-20, and you can customize line by line every component of that invoice, do exactly what you want it to do. And then when that payout goes out, you're done. You don't have to worry about it. So that's super exciting, especially for us, because again, that's going to like how Premium is a hybrid. And I think it's a very unique offering on the marketplace for direct booking. I don't think any of the competition is not going to be able to do that, because you need a very sophisticated payment processing solution, which is what we spent a long time implementing. So it's great to kind of like, these are some of the dividends that we're going to be able to get from the decisions we made a long time ago when we went down this route to do a very feature-rich premium solution for direct.
Awesome. Very exciting. So the next question we've got is from our Facebook page, and it relates to Google Vacation Rentals, which is a very exciting next feature release for us. Personally, I'm super excited to have another channel option through my Direct Premium listings. I know it's a very, very popular channel itself in Australia. So I'm sure there's a lot of Aussie hosts and American hosts that are very excited for it as well. The question is it restricted to Direct Premium only? And will it be restricted to those countries that Direct Premium are in? Will it be available in the States and Australia at the moment? How is that going to work once it does roll out?
Cool. Yeah, no, so it's not related to direct premium specifically. It's a direct feature generally. So Google just requires that we provide, you have a payment processing site, which is both. The only restriction that I mentioned before is that right now we're only able to accept hospitable sites where we're managing the URL and the SSL certificate for your site. We hope to resolve that situation so we can also take custom sites. But yeah, it'll be available anywhere where direct is available. You just need payment processing. And yeah, the super exciting. Like we talked with the Google team about this. Like they weren't actually taking new channel providers on at the moment. They were kind of in a, what would we call it? Like basically just a general improvement phase where they thought they had enough partners on board and they really wanted to improve the experience. They wanted to expand distribution. So some of the things that they've kind of been teasing in different markets is commingling your short-term rental inventory with Google Hotels. So that last time we spoke with them, I think probably 6-8 weeks ago, that was a very limited experiment in a few markets, but the data was very good. And so I think that's going to continue to expand. So anyone's shopping for Google Hotels, they're going to start to, I think from results 1 through 5 are hotels, and 6 through 10 will start to commingle short-term rentals. So you're going to get crossover from Google Hotels. You're already on the Google vacation search. It's commingled in different search results in Google. And then the other big one that's coming is they're considering Google Maps implementation. So you could actually opt in to have your short-term rental show up in Google Maps when people are doing location-based searches for travel and whatnot. So really exciting entry points to getting demand generated for short-term rentals via that. So yeah, probably the biggest feature release we'll do this year, besides launching direct, will be going live with Google Vacation Rentals. And we're really excited to see what that does.
Awesome. Very exciting. And one final question that I kind of have prompted while you're going through that, just so everyone's aware, I'm assuming that all of the Hospitable functionality that our hosts love will also work for Google Vacation Rental Booking. So things like our awesome automated messaging. Is that the case?
Yeah, that is the case. I mean, it's not live yet, so there's still some learning to be done, but yeah, it should work just like any other channel. But yeah, the actual like nuts and bolts details, like we don't have access to those yet. We're not live yet either. But yeah, we'll keep updating you guys as we go. But yeah.
Awesome. Okay, very cool. And another question, the next one I'll take from our Facebook page as well. And it's been a common question in the last few weeks. And I think we even touched on this on the last direct Q&A, was regarding direct listings showing in Hospitable properties. So the question is, how do they work? Why is there a direct listing showing in my Hospitable property? And I guess we could probably touch on when they will start to show in your account.
Cool. Yeah, that was a big update for us. Probably not a big update for our customers. You kind of have to get into a little bit of the history of some of like how direct started. And we were really kind of cribbing on your OTA listing because we wanted to make it as easy as possible to roll out a direct site on data that you already had created, right? So you had already had all your photos uploaded to your different channels. You already had your descriptions. And so we were syncing that data. We were pulling it in from Airbnb, maybe from Vrbo as well. And that is what we would use to create your direct site. But we needed, technically speaking, we needed kind of another holder of that information that was independent of your OTA. So if you ended up like disconnecting your Airbnb channel that we had built your direct site on, you could potentially lose a lot of information, like data tied to your past reservations that you had made on direct. And that was obviously a big liability and not a great thing to have happen. If you were surprised by when you disconnect an Airbnb account, all your direct reservations suddenly had issues. So to solve that, we needed it basically what we treat as an OTA channel internally is now your direct listing. So now, just like Airbnb, you see a direct listing as well. It looks like a connected channel. And we create that when you make your first booking on that channel, your direct booking. So normal process for getting set up with Hospitable, you might connect to Airbnb to start. We'll pull in all your information. You can then use that to publish a direct site. When you get a booking on that property, we'll create a direct listing within that property. And that just helps us have an independent holder of all that content that's important for direct and for your reservation. And we also, we see a lot of questions about how to edit that content for direct sites. And it's a little bit complicated because we pull that data from your connected Airbnb listing normally. And that's going to keep pulling from Airbnb as the source of that content until you edit it within Hospitable. And once you edit that, you'll see the little Airbnb icon go to gray on that section. And that means we're going to stop pulling from Airbnb because you've told us now you want this content independent of Airbnb. And that content will solely be pushed to your direct site then. So that's kind of the workflow is Airbnb first, pull in the data. You can not edit that, but once you edit it, we stop pulling from Airbnb, so we preserve your edits to that content, and that goes to your direct site.
Awesome. Thank you for clarifying that. I do see a lot of questions in our support chat generally about how that functionality works in terms of editing the fields and where that information comes from initially. That leads me to another question, and it is another common one that we do see, and that is it possible to have a direct listing without an OTA whatsoever at this stage?
In theory, yes. At this stage, no. So we're still borrowing a lot, I think, from like that setup and that workflow. And so there is quite a bit of work actually still to make that completely independent of an OTA, but it is something that we intend to do. So right now, the answer is no. If you want to get set up and you don't want to be listed on Airbnb for whatever reason, you can do that workflow. So get set up on Airbnb, import the content, and then delist on Airbnb. If you want to do direct only, that's kind of the hack to get around that. But the longer answer is we will allow you to do that in the future. There's just still some kind of behind the scenes work that needs to happen to make that possible.
Okay, awesome. Cool to know that there is a workaround if there are any hosts that are needing to do that, because it is a fairly regular question that we do get asked. Okay, well, we've run through a fair few questions there, and we are coming up to time that we had allocated. I'm not seeing any hands up in the chat itself on Zoom, so I'll leave another moment for anybody there that is wanting to put their hand up, but otherwise that might be us for today. Okay. Easy as that. That'll be the easiest one that you get, Andrew, I think.
Yeah, I'm used to the onslaught here. This is easy peasy.
Okay. So we had a couple of comments there about from Miro, just about customer support. As Andrew mentioned, we have just as of this week got the direct support team being onboarded. Generally with our core support team from Hospitable that helps the entire customer base. We have more than doubled the size of our customer support team, which is pretty incredible to do. That's been in just the last 2 months or so. So bringing on all those new team members who are all amazing in their own right, it does just take a little bit of time to onboard everybody. There's a lot of content that needs to be covered and learnt as a new onboardee, as you guys will have learnt just from today with the discussion with Andrew. So we're definitely on track to improving the overall customer support response times. We've come from an average of around 3 days just a few weeks ago to we're at about 6 or 7 hours this week, which is pretty incredible. So it's a huge gain in terms of the customer support response times, and we're aiming to get even better than that. We always do aim to respond to everybody within a day. So wherever you reach out, we understand and we appreciate your patience. In that, we do acknowledge that some of the direct related questions will be very specific. And we're doing our best to sort of look for a first touch, almost like an immediate response time, but that's a goal that we're kind of always striving to achieve. So thank you for those customer support related questions.
Yeah, and I think with direct, we actually have kind of more capacity than we need for the direct queue that's coming in. I think, it was a learning experience though, getting that set up, and we kind of bifurcated the queues, and then we had to adjust responsibilities, and there were regrettably like a few chats that were lost. I think that took a few days. We weren't sure who was supposed to be responding to them, but I think those issues have been ironed out now. So yeah, especially with the direct queue, I think you should be getting a very quick response. Especially we're trying to staff again US business hours for that 7 days a week. So during those times, hopefully it's as close to live chat as possible. We do have, I think, enough capacity to manage that. Yeah, still kind of getting set up, but we should be running pretty smooth at this point.
For sure. And yeah, that we're definitely getting close to that. I can see in the direct queue at the moment, there's only 2 outstanding support tickets, which is pretty incredible. And we do have a support team that kind of works around the clock. We've got a team in the States, a team here in Asia Pacific, and then a team in Europe. So we kind of cover all those hours. So they should be getting responded to more than just from one person. I saw, Myro, your question there in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, so we should have them around the clock rather than just a single responder. But other than that, I think that might be all of our questions for today. So thank you so much for everyone joining us today, and we look forward to the next one. We will be doing more direct updates on the town halls. As always, Andrew is joining us on those with direct updates, and then potentially, do you know if we've got any direct Q&As in the pipeline yourself, Andrew?
I don't know. I know the last one we did was super successful, so I'm sure we're going to do another one, and then yeah, we'll reshare those. So those will be on YouTube. We're also probably updates within Direct product itself on the main screen of Direct within Hospitable. You can get the previous Q&A from there. So we'll try and reshare that content too if it's in a different time zone again.
Awesome. Sounds great. All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.